So I'm going to show you how to make a bunch of different knots so that you can use them to make a cute little wall hanging weave thing. So cool. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot and their rad quick install adjustable table. The only thing you're really gonna need is an anchor, some macrame cord, and scissors. So I just took like an arm's length of that cord and folded it in half. And for your first knot, you take that folded end part, place it on top and wrap it around. Take the loose ends and pull them down through that loop you just made. For the reverse one, you start from the bottom and pull it over, then take those loose ends and pull them up through. The working cords are the ones that make the knot, and the filler cords are the ones you do the knot on. Take the left cord, go over the two and under the right one, then take that right one and go under all three of them and up and through that left side. Pull it tight. Take the cord you started with, that's going down through the loop, go over the two and under that one on the left, take the one on the left, under all of them and through that loop. So to do a right facing one is the same thing except from the right side. The right goes over and under, left goes under and through. Take your original one, go over, under, and under through. So now your right working cord is looping over the middle filler cords. And if you repeat that, you get a cute little thing like this. But let's say you start on this right side and go over and under and through, and just keep going with that right cord over and under through. So it switches from that black to the white cord, black to the white cord. You just use the working cord that's not wrapping over the top of the filler cords to start your knot. You'll get a cute little spiral. So I added another cord for this next one. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your far left cord, that's going to be your filler cord. And you'll make little knots on it coming left to right. So take the one right next to it, go up over it and down through that little hole, pull it tight. Do that again, going up and over and down through that little hole, making a little cord crotch. So you just repeat that over and over and over again until you get this little row of knots. Coming from the right side, it's the same thing. So you go up and down through that little hole, up and down to the hole, and depending on what angle you hold your filler cord, that's the angle that these knots are going to stay in. So if you hold it at a diagonal, it's going to be diagonal, horizontal, diagonal. Cool. So I undid that, and I'm going to add another cord to show this next knot. So make two square knots, one on this left side, then another one on this right side. Then take the two cords from those knots closest to each other, and that's going to be your filler cord. And the two adjacent cords are going to be your working cord to make your square knot. Then you'll just make two more square knots, just like you did the two original ones. So one on the right side, one on the left side. And once you're done there, you'd actually just repeat the pattern and do one here in the middle. And then I actually don't like how the outside looks when you do that middle square knot. So I'm going to redo that. So I go back to that point and I use the outer cord as my filler cord and do like a half hitch where I go over and through. And then I just do the square knot like normal, and it makes that cute little outside curl right there. So again, outside is my filler cord, do a little half hitch, and make a square knot. And I like how that looks a lot better. So cool. So right here we're going to do the exact same pattern, but we're going to spread apart these knots. And so by doing that, it just spreads out the pattern and makes like a different effect. So we have two square knots, one on the left, one on the right, then do one in the middle, and just that repeating, alternating the square knot, and whoop, looks pretty cool. So undo that, and then I'm gonna add another knot here. Take the middle cord and then wrap that left side around and over the top. This will make a knot just like our very first one, and then you're gonna go under and then through the loop. Pull it nice and tight, and then you're gonna go on this right side, go over and then over the top again, under and then through the loop. And you can keep on repeating that to make that effect. If you do the reverse and start on the bottom, and come over the top and under, and then over and through, your knot's gonna be on the bottom. So again, do that. You can see how the knot there is on the bottom. So for the next one, you're gonna gather all the knots together, then take a separate cord, make a loop with the short side on top, and take the long side and wrap it around all your cords and the loop. Then take that long side, pull it through the loop, the bottom, pull tight on top, and it will make a little knot underneath all those cords. If you cut it like that and pull it too tight, it comes undone.
Oh.
So for the next one, I'm going to spread them out a little bit. I'm going to take two cords at a time, go over the top, under, and then over, then alternate. So take that right one now, over the top, under, then over, and just repeat that over again. Over and over again. And like I said earlier, if you take like the same pattern, the same knot, and just do it looser or use less cords, it changes the look completely. So if you do this and like don't do it as tight, and with one cord it kind of looks like a little chain. So I like that a lot. And that's kind of what I've learned with macrame, is if you just like make something up and it like holds tight, then it works. So you kind of make it look however you want. So with all that, let's take these all out and let's make a little wall hanging. So I took a cord and measured how long I wanted it to be, and they said that you want to make it 8 times as long. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But when I cut that and saw how long it was, it just seemed so long. So I folded it in half and cut it again, so it was only 4 times as long. So hopefully that works. So I started with the reverse lark heads knot and just did a bunch of them, spread them out to how I wanted it to be, and then started with a square knot. I think that's a left facing one. Yeah, it's a left facing one, so I just did that. And I think throughout the entire piece I kind of tried to make them all left facing ones. And then I did the horizontal clove stitch, and I didn't want my filler cord to go all the way across the entire piece, so I stopped after 8 cords, and then took the next one, went under, and just did this little thing, went over and made that the new filler cord. Then started the clove stitch over again. I just did that every 8 cords, doing that little crossover thing. And I added another cord just to even it up, so I did that 4 times as long. Then this little kitty cat got on the way. Look at that little turd. So did the square knots, then the clove stitches to get it all caught up. And when I got all done, my friend called me.
Oh, what up, dude? Yeah, I'm just at my house, so I'll head out right now.
So I took a quick break and then came back to it and did the alternating square knot, doing it in the loose way. And I found out that if I did a horizontal lark heads stitch on that side, it kind of repeated the pattern better. So that was cool, and I like that a lot. So I did that there, and then did my clove stitch, and then did it again on that right side with the horizontal lark heads. Then for this one, I was doing that horizontal lark heads again, and I didn't like how it looked there with those 2 knots like button heads. So I unstitched that, and I did a spacer of 2 cords. So I did 4 things for the lark heads, then 2 cords. So here's the 4 cords for the horizontal larks, and did all those. And once I was done, I brought those 2 cord spacers down. Finished off with a horizontal cord stitch. It's not a cord stitch, I can't remember what it's called now. Clove stitch, it's called the clove stitch. And then I did the spiral stitch, did some clove stitches again. This little kitty cat got on the way again, but he's such a good help. I really do like this like loose alternating half hitch. Yeah, I think that's what it was called, because it looks like chains. I think that's really cool. I think it'd be cool to do an entire thing of just that, like really long. But yeah, so then I did that. Then I did another alternating square knot. Did them tight this time. Added the clove stitch again, and rolled this up so that it was in frame. Added again the alternating half hitch with the 2 cords, and just finished it off with that clove stitch and then the gathering ones. And with that, I was done. Pretty stoked with how that turned out. Cut off the excess. Not the access, the excess. I probably should have left the cord 8 times as long, because it was a little shorter than I wanted it, but I was still pretty stoked with how long it was. And I know what you're thinking right now. Oh wow, Brian, that's such a nice zoom. But the truth is, I'm actually just adjusting the height of my table, so that's pretty cool. So, pretty stoked with this. This was actually the first macrame I've ever done, and I have some rad ideas I'm gonna do in the future with this, like doing a skull pattern. I think that'd be cool. But also something I really like is the repeating pattern. And so I'm kind of curious, like how it would look if you repeated the knots over, and like instead of doing a random one, if you just did the same knot, or maybe like every other one was a different one. So I'm gonna show you that, how that looks at the end of the video. But before I get to that, I am going to start doing a monthly t-shirt, and so that design will run through the whole month. I know we're starting a little late, sorry. To pick this month's t-shirt, I did a poll on Instagram between this one and this one. What we make makes us one. They're live on our website if you want to snag one. I actually get asked a lot about what blank shirt I use, and how I get my own personal sizing tag in the shirts. I actually got like my own shirts made and imported in. I'm gonna use up the rest of my own custom ones for these, but honestly I like Bell and Canvas blanks, and that's what I'm gonna use once I've printed on all of my custom ones. So I do have a link to Bell and Canvas shirts, and also I know a lot of you don't have screen printing, don't have like a screen printer at home, and they also offer a way to get your design on their shirts, so that's cool. With that, the first 50 people who order one of those leopard shirts for this month, I'll give them a little tote bag as well. So fun stuff. Super stoked to start doing this monthly thing, and my buddy Byron, he's the one that's running like all the creative direction for my merch and stuff. Super stoked to have him part of the team. Also super stoked about this table. Let me tell you about it a little bit. So I was so stoked about the table that right when I got it, I set it up without filming it. And so I wanted to show how quick it is to install it. So first thing I have to do is uninstall it. And honestly, it was so quick to install and uninstall, I didn't mind doing it twice. So here's a little timer. First thing I noticed when using the table is actually how sturdy and stable the table is. So that's really cool because my last one was super wobbly and that affected how my projects were being filmed. So super stoked on that. And then of course the capability to like have it tall or short. So a lot of times my back starts hurting when I'm working on a longer project. So being able to raise it and start working from standing is super awesome. And then they also have a bunch of different options. I picked the white table because I like filming on white, but they also have like a wood, a black. You guys can go check them out in the link below. They're also doing a Black Friday sale until the 30th, and you can get $50 off. Like I said, I want to show you guys how this would look if you did more of like repeating knots over and over again. So I don't know why I thought I needed to bite it, but let me show you. So I just did this in Photoshop, and I repeated the knot patterns over and over again and just kept that clove stitch there. And my favorite one was actually where I alternated the square knot with like the alternating square knots right there. So as silly as it sounds, your possibilities are endless, and I'm really excited. I think you guys could have a lot of fun just mixing things up, and I would love to see what you make. So you can always DM me on Instagram. That's where I'm the best at replying. Still not great, but I'm getting better. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that. Boo honky. Boo honky? Sure, we'll stay with it.